y'all, what's up and welcome back to my channel. My name is Xrizz'Tina and today we are going to talk about putting shapes on your eye. So like I was trying to say before my cat interrupted me, we're going to be talking about creating shapes on your eye. So I'm just going to show you guys what I know and what helps me develop shapes on my eye. The most important thing to know when it comes to creating shapes on your face or on your eyes specifically is getting to know your bone structure. That's going to make a huge difference in whether or not these shapes come naturally to you, and also how easy they are to create. So in my case, the shapes that come the most natural to me are shapes with curves, because my eyes have a fold in them and my brow bone stops right here, which makes it easy for me to do things like a cut crease and the floating cut crease, or like I said, cat eye shape looks, right? Another thing that contributes to the difference is your eyebrows. Now, some people just go ahead and make shapes around or on top of their eyebrows or through their eyebrows. But if you're not the kind of person who wants to do that, you'll have to take into consideration where your eyebrows stop and how much space you have as well. And you know what? Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. So as y'all can see with my eye shape, I have I guess you would consider it like a round and almond eye shape. I do also have an eyelid, and like I said, my brow bone stops right about up in here. For me, like I was saying earlier, it's much easier for me to create round shapes such as cut creases. And when it comes to making a cut crease, if you have a fold in your eye, you always want to make the cut crease above the fold in your eye. And depending on how much space you have between your eyelashes and your brows, you might have to take that line pretty far up. For example, my mother's eyelids are smaller than mine. They're probably about half the size. So if I was going to do a cut crease on her, I would basically create a cut crease about 2 times the size of her eye, because she has a lot of space between her eyelashes and her brows, right? On me, however, I will put my cut crease right above this fold right here. And the reason why is because when I open my eyes, I want to be able to see my eyeshadow. So round shapes come naturally to me like that. And you really just want to study your eye shape. Like I said, if you're someone who has a monolid, meaning you don't have eyelids, when you open your eyes it's just nice smooth surface, you can create any kind of shape very easily. You just have to go for it essentially. If you do have eyelids that fold, another thing you'll have to keep in mind is the fact that your eyelids will contribute to whether or not the shape is even. For example, squares. Let's do a square. So when I'm drawing squares, or any shape for that matter, I have to look straight ahead into my mirror, and I actually have a handheld mirror with me right now. And I do my very best to outline the shape. Having a white eyeliner is really, really good, especially if you're someone who likes to work with color and you don't have time to be making too many mistakes. Outlining your shapes can really be beneficial. So I'll do that, and I'll go ahead and make my straight line like this. Perspective is also really important. You want to understand from which angle you're trying to make this shape obvious. So if you want people to look at you head on and be able to see the shape, then create the shape that way. If you want people to see it from an angle, then you want to draw it on that way, right? But anyway, so when I'm creating shapes like squares, stars, number one, take your time and really consider the placement as far as how much work you're willing to do if you have an eyelid. Then I would say creating the straight line is the most difficult part. But that's also why you want to make sure you're using something to help you outline, especially if you're not confident. Sorry, y'all have to. Let's get into this eyelid. So what I like to do is I will start by closing my eye when I do my line. And I'm sure all of y'all can see when I open my eye, the line is curved, right? And we don't want that because we're trying to make a clean line, right? So what I'll do is, and I'm not raising my eyebrows or anything because you really don't want to be stretching the skin when you're doing this. because that'll distort the shape. And so opening and closing your eye to evaluate whether or not your lines are straight is going to help you make sure that when your eyes are open, you have a nice, well, this isn't really a square, it's more like a mini rectangle, but you have a nice even shape is the point, right? And then if you are using eyeliners to outline your shape, don't worry about making it perfect, because of course you're going to go back in with your other products to create your eye look and then clean up the white lines with whatever color you're actually going to be doing. That's another thing that's really cool about using white eyeliners too, is you can put whatever you want on top of them, including eyeshadow, primer, and then if you do wind up doing outlines, you can go ahead and prime the rest of your eye and start creating your eyeshadow around that. Even if you wind up blending your eyeshadow on top of that line, you still have the guide there to let you know, hey, this is the area where you drew out these shapes. So go ahead and fill it in that way, right? It's actually really, it's way more simplistic than it looks when it comes to creating these shapes. That's why you'll see girls online literally doing this or just slapping the shapes on. One of my favorite people who puts shapes on her eyes is Rocio Sieja. She is on Instagram and Twitter, and she started the whole stars in your inner corner thing, and she would just put stickers down. Like, it's literally that simple. You want circles on your eye and you don't want to draw the circles yourself, get some stencils and put them on. Now when it comes to the fold of your eye, it'll be a little bit more difficult that way, but anywhere else you should be fine. So the other thing that I want to talk about is tools, and I'm trying to see if I have one of these brushes is dirty. Okay, just don't judge me. I had to pull it out of the pile because I was using it. I actually filmed this video yesterday, but my lighting was off, so I'm hoping, Jehovah, please, this lighting be correct. So anyway, let's get into tools. These are just as important as you actually making the shape. And the reason why is because what you choose to make your shape is going to make it either way easier for you to create or way harder for you to create, right? So when it comes to me making my cut creases and even that really pretty like butterfly shape that people like, which I'll demonstrate that for y'all too. Let me get my mirror. Let me go ahead and do it. So this shape, because a lot of people like it, you can actually outline it like this too with a white eyeliner and then do your eyeshadow if you want to. What I actually do is I will put on my eyeshadow. Okay, look at that. Just like that, super easy. And you can obviously use a skinnier white eyeliner. It doesn't have to be this big. I'm using this for demonstration purposes, but it's really not as complicated as it looks. Now, if I was doing this kind of look, I wouldn't use the outline because I wouldn't use the outline because for me, outlines are more so for shapes like this that don't come natural to my eye shape. But if I was going to do this, I would actually put my eyeshadow on first, blending in the direction I want the eyeshadow to go, of course. So my darker shade, I would blend it out. I'd probably have it up in here and up in there, and then I'd have some lighter shades, just fading it out, right? Like I normally do. And if you go back and watch some of my tutorials, you can literally see me doing this. So I would bring my eyeshadow probably up to about this point, and then the area where I know I want my cut crease or whatever shape I'm trying to establish, I would avoid getting unnecessary amounts of eyeshadow there. Why? Because it's a waste of product and it's a waste of my time to wipe it off. And then what I would do is I would come in, if I'm doing an actual cut crease, I would use my eyeshadow primer to cut my crease in this area. And then I would take my tool, which is very important. This is a round brush, and what it's going to do is help it. This is a round brush, and what it's going to do is make it super easy for me to create this nice round shape without having to use an outline, okay? With my eyeshadow primer, concealer, whatever it is that you like to use, it's gonna help me make that shape. And that's why your tool is just as important as understanding your bone structure and where you want to place your shapes. Another thing that I really love having are flat brushes like this, especially especially when it comes to cleaning up, you know, especially when it comes to sharper shapes, or more, especially when it comes to cleaning up my shapes. Because this is square and blunt, I'm able to come in and just say, okay, I want this line to be a little bit more crisp. Let me make it a little bit more crisp, you know, and then pack in the corners if I want to. Your tools really do make a huge, look, I'm doing this in the monitor. Your tools really do make a huge difference. I love brushes like this for shapes that are super detailed. So like if I was doing a graphic liner, or if I did a star and I really wanted the point to be precise, I would use something like this. Yeah. And these, of course, are not the only brushes that you can use to create really cool shapes on your eyes, but there's so much you can do. The possibilities are endless. One of my favorite things to do besides this actual shape is to create this shape without using a precise line. So like I said earlier, I would put my eyeshadow down, and then of course the space up here would be empty, and then I would take a powder or an eyeshadow of some sort. I do this all the time. And I would just blow it out in this area. And essentially would make the same shape, this same shape. I'll probably put a picture up so y'all can see. Essentially, it would make this same shape. The only difference is there is no cut crease. So keep that in mind too whenever you're creating shapes on your eyes. They don't have to be standard or traditional. You can totally do this shape and just, like, if you just wanted to have this part nice and crisp, and then the rest of it, you know, you wanted to have a glitter right up in here, but you only wanted the precision up here, that's fine. If you only want the precision halfway, like that, I do that all the time. That's perfectly fine. Do what works for you, experiment, and have fun with your makeup. I hope this video helped you out quite a bit when it comes to making shapes on your eyes. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up on Instagram via DM. I will be more than happy to answer your questions for you and help you out with this whole makeup thing. Don't forget to comment, okay? Even if you're watching this on your TV, girl, open your phone, okay? Open your phone and comment on the video. Say something. Say something, okay? And then don't forget to like this video so that more people like you have an opportunity to see it, and also an opportunity to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for welcoming me back to YouTube after being gone for so long. I'm back and I'm better. I need to put on a sweater because it's cold in this mug. Anyway. I will see y'all next time. You can subscribe right here and check out the next video right here. This video is going to be relative to what I was talking about today. I'll see y'all. Peace.